Joan Rivers said that Michelle Obama was a man before she died.
Was it a joke? I thought it was a joke.
I thought it was a joke too, but the way she said it wasn't like jokey. She was like, oh, come on, everybody knows Michelle Obama's a man.
Michelle Obama surprised fans on her new podcast by saying her pet peeve about her husband is that he's chronically late. For example, we're still waiting on him to admit he's from Kenya. And as for Barack's pet peeve about Michelle, he's mad that she keeps leaving the toilet seat up. When she cleans it. When she cleans it.
The real question isn't whether Michelle Obama is beyond criticism. It's how Joe Rogan and Greg Gutfeld managed to completely dismantle her public image without even breaking a sweat. One moment, she's the nation's favorite first lady, the queen of book clubs and feel-good speeches. The next, she's in the crosshairs, dodging Rogan's brutal honesty and Gutfeld's razor-sharp one-liners like it's a verbal dodgeball match in the White House gym. But they didn't just poke holes in her legacy. They ripped it apart, layer by layer, wrapped it in sarcasm, and handed it right back to the public. Oh, what did they expose that made Michelle suddenly go silent? Let's just say, it's even messier than the backlash from her infamous school lunch program.
Joe Rogan is calling out Oprah and Michelle Obama for hypocritical speeches at the DNC Watch.
She's up there talking about income inequality. Like, hey, lady.
Yeah, I know.
You're rich as Like, how is that equal? And also, when Michelle Obama was saying, I think she was saying her mother or grandmother was always suspicious of people who took more than they needed.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
you are worth
Right.
so much money.
Take more than they need. The Obamas have 4 mansions.
I mean, it's a bunch of rich people talking about rich people.
Michelle Obama once tried to sell an entire generation on the idea that limp spinach and mushy quinoa were some kind of food revolution. A so-called culinary uprising led by soggy kale and unidentifiable lentils. Let's be real. That wasn't a health plan. It was a full-on assault on taste buds. Yet there she was, marching out with her salad tongs like a general storming Normandy, armed with chickpeas instead of courage.
So, president dies, everyone in the world shows up, and she doesn't break her vacation? It's not like she doesn't have access to a jet. Something is going on. Let's speculate.
Yes, please.
It's either surgery.
Oh.
That was my least controversial thing.
Depends what kind of surgery.
She will not sit close to the dictator. And by that, I don't mean Hillary, I mean Donald Trump. Or there's trouble in paradise between Barack and Michelle. I've heard things. I'm not going to substantiate that by repeating these rumors on national TV like I just did. But I'm just saying it's very odd that she's not there.
Yeah, we should ask Mike.
Enter Joe Rogan and Greg Gutfeld, the unexpected duo nobody asked for, but somehow the only ones bold enough to say out loud what everyone else just mutters over their green smoothies. Michelle Obama's entire brand. It's a blend of Pinterest quotes, yoga pose virtue signaling, and the world's longest TED Talk dressed up as a legacy.
So, let's just calm down.
Got it.
No, Michelle is a
I'm sorry, she's a what?
transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
It's pretty funny how she said it.
Okay, we all know.
Let's get one thing straight. This isn't about hating on a former first lady. This is about calling out the sanctimony that somehow got weaponized. Michelle Obama turned drink more water into a moral commandment, like she personally discovered H2O. Meanwhile, the rest of us were just trying to stop our kids from trading celery sticks for real food on the school cafeteria's underground snack market.
Michelle Obama has openly admitted that she and Barack sleep in separate bedrooms. Here's how it works. She sleeps downstairs, and he likes men.
Greg Gutfeld never misses a good political buffet, and he practically choked on laughter recounting the glorious irony of Michelle Obama's health crusade, while her own White House dinners looked like Whole Foods exploded on a presidential plate. Sure, it was organic, but edible? That's another story, because no matter how fancy you dress up beat hummus, at some point, someone's calling the cops for food abuse.
Just good to see everybody having a good time. The country's almost back to normal before World War III. COVID was just so strange. We lost a lot of people during COVID, and most of them are still alive. human history. After COVID, I'm like, I don't think we went to the moon. I think Michelle Obama's got a dick. I think Pizzagate is real. I think there's direct energy weapons in Antarctica.
Then there's Joe Rogan, the guy who built a podcast empire by dropkicking sacred cows right in the udder. To him, Michelle Obama's perfectly filtered persona is the golden calf of smug progressivism. Here's a former first lady who flexes biceps like she's angling for a Marvel cameo, then scolds the rest of us about the perils of, well, joy. In her utopia, a slice of pizza is basically contraband. Rogan has to ask, asterisk, so what's the macro count on pure self-righteousness? Asterisk, and let's absolutely talk about those Netflix mega deals. Nothing screams asterisk. I'm just like you. Asterisk, quite like a multi-million-dollar production contract delivered with the subtlety of a cash-stuffed wrecking ball. The resulting documentary is a full-blown pilgrimage through her own ego, complete with slow-mo hero shots of her striding through crowds like Moses parting a sea of peasants. Cue Greg Gutfeld, late night's resident snark goblin, gleefully poking holes in the soft-focus facade. Every Michelle appearance feels less like activism and more like a lighting rehearsal. Her speeches ooze motivational syrup thicker than a Tony Robbins seminar held in a Whole Foods parking lot. Inspiring? Maybe. Useful? Only if your life plan revolves around monogram stationery and a Fitbit.
Michelle thinks American men suck.
Let me warn you, your rage does not exist in a vacuum. If we don't get this election right, your wife, your daughter, your mother, we as women will become collateral damage to your rage. To make these choices clear to the men that we love, our lives are worth more than their anger and disappointment.
What's that pitter-patter sound I'm hearing in the background? Footsteps of Barack running to vote for Trump.
Greg Gutfeld has had a field day watching Michelle Obama morph from First Lady to globe-trotting brand ambassador of feel-good platitudes. He jokes he'll need a neck brace from nodding at her LinkedIn-level life hacks. Believe in yourself. Thanks, Michelle. Can I put that toward the rent? Maybe I'll just manifest my credit score while I'm at it. Next up, the wardrobe worship. One headline fawned because she wore a belt. CNN practically live-blogged a cardigan. You'd think she was sewing peace treaties in the Lincoln bedroom. Gutfeld's obvious question, when did Banana Republic become a geopolitical statement? And then there's the memoir, a tome so crammed with journeys and truths it could double as a yoga mat. Each page reads like a motivational speech steeped in vague trauma and aspirational Instagram captions. Rogan says he had to step outside, touch grass, and rewatch Roadhouse just to feel like a man again.
Someone put on Instagram that Tim Dillon's video where he was saying that Michelle Obama should run for president. If she won, she could pull her cock out and China would just give up. I was fucking wheezing. I couldn't breathe. Big Mike.
Big Mike.
But Michelle's greatest magic trick might be playing the underdog while living in veritable palaces. She'll speak of the struggle from a mansion with a 6-car garage, like Marie Antoinette giving a TED Talk on minimalism. As Gutfeld cracks, her idea of adversity is running out of organic quinoa at Whole Foods. Remember when she branded herself the relatable First Lady? Right, because nothing screams down to earth like custom chandeliers, curated guest lists, and Secret Service bodyguards trained like Navy SEALs. Sure, she's just a mom with a full styling squad, a private chef, and an Instagram caption consultant. Rogan says her public persona feels like one endless episode of The View, minus the mercy of commercial breaks. Every line arrives shrink-wrapped in soft moralism and baked until beige. Political tofu. Bland, preachy, omnipresent. And the media? She sneezes, and it's hailed as a defiant act of courage against patriarchal pollen. Gutfeld jokes they cover her like some fusion of Gandhi and Beyoncé. The praise is so constant it's suspicious. What's she hiding? A carbohydrate. Meanwhile, Rogan still can't get over her crusade for national nutrition while the country's kids recover from school lunch apple slices that tasted like packing foam. You can't traumatize children with lentil loaf. then rebrand yourself as a cultural messiah. That's culinary gaslighting.
So, Kat, they know that they're having a hard time with men.
Right.
Doesn't seem like this is the right strategy.
No.
She basically says that they're hurting women by voting for Trump.
But I think they don't understand that where it comes from in the first place is that people are sick of being told how bad they are and talked down to, and you know, the condescension doesn't work. None of what they're doing really works. I mean, the Walls AOC live stream of them playing Madden together was supposed to be to get like dudes who like football on their side, and they did it during football.
Michelle Obama's superpower? Making it look like she's doing everything while actually saying almost nothing. Each speech is a word salad buffet with just enough croutons of meaning to fool the crowd into thinking they're feasting on substance. Rogan figures the real entree must be backstage, probably plated by some guy named Skylar in a gluten-free apron. Gutfeld loves torching the myth that she's a unifying force. Come on, this is the same woman who splits opinions faster than the great pineapple on pizza debate. Her brand isn't unity, it's selective enlightenment, a lighthouse that only beams for believers, and don't even bring up her fitness gospel. No one has glorified lunges this hard since the inventor of stairs. Somehow exercise became political. Refuse to plank along with her on TV, and suddenly you're the reason for America's obesity crisis. Gutfeld quips that somewhere a donut cried itself to sleep. Rogan caps it off. Michelle's vibe is so relentlessly inspirational it's exhausting, like being forced into a book club you never signed up for. Every sentence is a life lesson, even when all you wanted was a cheeseburger and a little peace.
Rumors continue to escalate for the Obamas. Hopefully they can settle it like men.
And yes, she has a podcast because of course she does. Each episode plays like group therapy for people who've never heard the word no, a warm bath of pseudo-wisdom whose chief takeaway is that Michelle, once again, exists on a higher plane than the rest of us. Rogan rolled the clips and swore he could feel himself aging from the second-hand condescension. Gutfeld, meanwhile, cracked jokes about the forthcoming Michelle Obama library, as if she were some hybrid of Mother Teresa and Oprah, with better arm definition. The only books on the shelves? Her own, lined up beside affirmation stones and artisanal essential oils. Admission will probably require a detox smoothie and proof of emotional vulnerability. Michelle has perfected being everywhere while never quite being anywhere. Her presence is ambient. You don't choose it. It chooses you. She's the spiritual equivalent of farmer's market background jazz. Soothing, familiar, and subtly manipulative. Rogan quipped that if she launched a perfume, it would smell like moral superiority and steamed broccoli, with a hint of filtered authenticity. Gutfeld added it would come in a recycled globe bottle, available only to followers of her 12-week wellness program, Becoming, but with burpees. And then there's the latest rumor swirling in conspiracy corners, a future Michelle Obama political run. Because after lecturing America on lunges, and living your truth, what's left? Apparently, running the country. Gutfeld laughed so hard he nearly fell off his chair, because nothing screams political outsider like 16 years spent in the world's most powerful rooms.
Even if they run Michelle. According to a new poll, Michelle Obama isn't as strong a Democratic candidate against former President Donald Trump as many Dems would have you believe. In a hypothetical matchup, my favorite kind, Trump wins with 47% of the vote compared to Michelle Obama's 44%. I guess some of the kids whose school lunches she ruined are finally old enough to vote. Remember that? And
So, what have we learned? Michelle Obama is the reigning monarch of curated struggle, empress of empowerment buzzwords, first lady of filtered authenticity. And thanks to Rogan and Gutfeld, the veneer has come off. Behind it, not a monster, not a mastermind, just a meticulous brand manager in motivational guru cosplay, ready to scold you for not loving spinach hard enough. If all else fails, expect a new book. Still Becoming, The Journey to Journeying. Picture 300 pages of sunrise metaphors and salad anecdotes, plus an inspirational playlist and a locale dressing recipe that tastes like regret. Remember, when they go low, She goes high for only $29.99 plus tax. Michelle didn't just rebrand, she franchised. She's the Oprah of broccoli, the Dalai Lama of dumbbells, the sage of doing the work, even if that work is really just filtering selfies and name-dropping resilience. Every appearance is a masterclass in performance, sculpted as precisely as those biceps the media won't stop drooling over. Yet the contradictions never end. She preaches simplicity while dining Michelin style, champions humility while basking in designer praise, and calls for unity while building a brand on curated division. Rogan notes she can sound profound while saying almost nothing, basically a TED Talk about clouds. Gutfeld adds that the echo chamber trailing her is less critique, more canonization. She's become a one-woman industry of sugar-coated smugness, where every anecdote is polished, every struggle conveniently relatable, every photo shoot timed to catch the golden hour of moral superiority. If branding were an Olympic sport, Michelle would have 5 gold medals, a documentary about the journey, and a line of vegan protein bars called Authenticity Bites. And still, no one's allowed to ask the obvious. Exactly what are we clapping for?
They're doing really works. I mean, the Walls AOC live stream of them playing Madden together was supposed to be to get like dudes who like football on their side, and they did it during football. Like, who's consulting them on this stuff?
Yeah. It's a
woman, probably, also.
It's a gay man.